we get to the climate issue, and again, you get this problem that overlaid everything is this fear of saying the wrong thing. You know, this fear of being labeled a science denier, or the fear of being labeled unsympathetic to the victims of climate change. And so someone will come out with a report that says 50 years from now there are going to be way more hurricanes and they're going to affect low-lying island states, and all these poor countries are going to be hit. Okay, are we allowed to criticize that? Are we allowed to come back and say, well, first of all, we don't see any trend like that in the current data. There's nothing in the models to suggest that's a likely possibility. And if low-lying, low-income island states are at risk, wouldn't it be better for them to develop and become wealthy so they become more resilient to, given the fact that they're always going to experience a risk of tropical storms and hurricanes and things like that. That's just the nature of the place they live. But if you point that out, the proper response should be to get into a discussion about what the actual numbers show and what the risks are and what the benefits are. But instead what happens is you get this ramping up of rhetoric and says, well, now you're unsympathetic to the poor, or you're denier, or things like that. So it's a very similar dynamic, which is that the intellectual discussion that should be happening doesn't take place because everybody gets just afraid of saying the wrong thing and getting called names and things like that. And the outcome, well, in the case of the housing market, the outcome was a financial collapse. In the case of the climate issue, the outcome is a lot of really bad, very expensive policies, huge distortions in the energy supply, both wealthy and poor countries cutting off avenues of economic development because of this distorted conversation about the use of fossil energy in the economy, and a reduction in standards of living taking place around the world, and this is a very negative outcome. As far as I can tell, the only way around it is, I guess, people just have to get past this fear of saying the wrong thing and just start to have the really serious discussion about the policy costs, and just don't worry about, and don't be afraid of this whole social faux pas issue. Just people have to get out from underneath these covers of political correctness and just start talking about these issues with all the numbers on the table.